Welcome to Fact Miracle, where history's hidden stories breathe again. Today, we journey into the life of Abraham Lincoln, not the marble monument, but the man. A man shaped by hardship, haunted by doubt, and yet driven by conscience to guide a nation through its darkest hour. Abraham Lincoln was born in 1809 in a humble log cabin on the edge of the American frontier. His family knew poverty, and survival was their daily struggle. Formal schooling was rare, but Lincoln hungered for knowledge. He taught himself by reading borrowed books. Imagine the flicker of candlelight on worn pages after long days of backbreaking labor in the fields. From these nights of solitude, he absorbed ideas, stories of history, law, and human nature. Each word became a stepping stone, lifting him beyond the boundaries of his world. From an early age, Lincoln learned to truths that would shape him for life: hardship and patience. These years did not yet forge a leader. They forged something deeper, a thinker, a man who would wrestle with questions of justice, freedom, and the destiny of a nation. Lincoln's early adult life was marked not by triumph but by failure. He lost elections, again and again. His small business collapsed, leaving him in debt. He endured heartbreak and the loss of loved ones, grief that cut deeply into his spirit. At times, Lincoln wrestled with shadows of despair, a struggle rarely spoken of in polished histories, yet one that shaped the quiet resilience within him. What kept him going was not a belief in destiny or greatness. It was something simpler and harder: the conviction that the work itself mattered, even when unseen. This persistence, quiet, uncelebrated, and often unnoticed, became the foundation of his character. And when the moment of leadership finally arrived, it was this endurance, forged in failure, that gave him the strength to guide a nation through its darkest hour. Lincoln entered politics in one of the most fractured moments in American history. The nation was torn apart over slavery, over power, over identity itself. Every debate carried the weight of a country on the brink. Contrary to the myth of a man born with unshakable convictions, Lincoln's views did not arrive fully formed. They evolved, slowly, painfully, through struggle and reflection. He wrestled with compromise, balancing moral ideals against the harsh realities of politics. Each choice demanded sacrifice. Each decision carried consequences that could not be undone. His leadership was not driven by certainty, but by constant questioning, by the courage to doubt, and the discipline to keep searching for what was right. History remembers the decisions he made, but it often forgets the torment behind them: the sleepless nights, the burden of conscience, and the quiet resilience of a man who understood that leadership is not about easy answers, but about facing impossible questions. When the Civil War began, Lincoln stood at the center of a storm. Every choice before him was impossible. Each decision carried an unbearable cost, measured in lives lost, in unity shattered, in futures forever changed. Criticism came from every side. To some, he moved too slowly. To others, he pushed too far, too fast. The chorus of doubt surrounded him, and yet the burden of choice remained his alone. Leadership in this moment was not heroic, it was heavy. It was the weight of a nation breaking apart, and the responsibility of holding it together. Lincoln carried that weight quietly, not with grand gestures, but with endurance, a steady hand, a patient resolve, and the silent knowledge that history would judge him not by the ease of his path, but by the courage to walk it. Lincoln's greatest legacy may not lie in his actions, but in his words. His speeches were short, deliberate, and deeply reflective. They carried the weight of a nation, yet were spoken with the humility of a man wrestling with responsibility. He did not speak as a ruler issuing commands. He spoke as a human being, searching for meaning in the midst of chaos, offering conscience as a compass when certainty was impossible. Even today, his words echo across time. They remind us that leadership is not built on absolute answers, but on the courage to speak truth with honesty. To guide not with power, but with conscience. This, perhaps, is Lincoln's most enduring gift, the reminder that words, when spoken with integrity, can outlast war, division, and even death. Abraham Lincoln did not live to witness the nation's healing. His vision remained unfinished. His questions lingered, unanswered. History made him a symbol, a monument carved in stone, a figure larger than life. But beneath the symbol was a man who was introverted, insecure, and tough, a man who bore doubt, but also hope, who struggled with both mourning and obligation. To remember only the hero is to forget humanity, and perhaps it is that humanity, his quiet endurance, his imperfect struggle, his willingness to keep searching for what was right, that is the most important lesson he left behind. Not certainty, not perfection, but the reminder that true leadership is born from humanity itself. From shadows to legacy, Lincoln's story reminds us that even in our darkest nights, resolve can light the way. Thank you for listening to Fact Miracle. Subscribe to Fact Miracle for more hidden history, where stories breathe again.